You keep counting the years you believe you wasted, and tonight I am asking you to put the ledger down for just a little while. You almost scrolled past this, didn't you? Your thumb was already moving, your mind already somewhere else, and yet something made you pause here, at this exact line. Maybe that pause is not as random as it feels. You do not have to fix anything to stay. You do not have to understand how you got here, or make sense of the years behind you, before you are allowed to rest for these few minutes. You only have to be willing to listen. So breathe in slowly with me, and let your shoulders come down just a little, just for now. Before anything else, let me be honest with you, because honesty is where trust begins. What you are about to hear is an encouragement drawn from the Bible, a reflection offered gently in faith. It is not a private revelation. It is not a prediction about your future, and it is not a promise of any particular outcome in your life. It is simply the timeless comfort of Scripture, read slowly over you today. And there is one verse I want to build this whole quiet hour upon. It comes from the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 25. Listen to the words without rushing. And I will restore to you the years that the locust hath eaten, the cankerworm and the caterpillar and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you. Read those words again, slowly, inside your own heart. The years the locust has eaten. You know exactly which years those are, don't you? The ones you would take back if you could. And into that very place, the Scriptures speak the word restore. So let me speak to you the way the Bible speaks, as if the comfort of the Father himself were leaning close to the part of you that aches the most. My child, I have heard you counting. I have heard you, late at night, adding up the years you think you threw away, the years lost to a habit you could not break, that took more from you than you ever meant to give. The years given to a relationship that slowly emptied you out, one quiet disappointment at a time. The years swallowed by a heaviness you could not explain, when getting out of bed was the bravest thing you did all day. The years you simply drifted, awake but not really living, watching time slip by like water through your open hands. I have seen every one of those years, and I did not turn away from a single one. You keep counting them as loss, as a debt that can never be repaid. You tell yourself the math is simple, that the time is gone, that it is too late now, and that nothing can change what already happened. But hear me, because this is the truth your grief has been hiding from you. I am not counting those years the way you are. You count them as wasted. I look at the very same years, and I see something that can still be redeemed. Nothing handed honestly to me is ever truly lost. Not the broken years, not the wandering years, not even the years you are most ashamed of. Now hear me carefully, so there is no confusion in your heart. I am not telling you that the clock will turn backward. I am not promising that the money will return, or that the lost opportunities will be handed back exactly as they were, or that the years themselves will be replayed. That is not what restore means here, and I will not hand you a promise the Scriptures never made. What I am telling you is deeper, and it will outlast every regret. The meaning of those years can still be restored. The purpose hidden inside that pain can still be drawn out into the light. The story you thought was only ruin can still be made into something with weight and worth and tenderness toward others. That is the kind of restoring the Scriptures point us toward. You have believed a quiet lie for a very long time. The lie says that because the years were hard, the years were empty. It says that because you stumbled, the whole stretch of road behind you counts for nothing. It whispers that everyone else was building a life while you were only surviving, only falling, only losing ground. And in the dark, it reads your wasted seasons back to you, one by one, as if to prove you can never catch up. My child, that voice is a liar. It does not speak for heaven, and it does not speak the truth about your years. So when it begins its familiar accusation tonight, answer it gently with what is true. When it says those years are gone forever, the truth says, I can restore their meaning. When it says you can never make up the time, the truth says, your worth was never measured by the time. When it says it is too late for you, the truth says, I am not finished with your story. When it says the years are nothing but proof of your failure, the truth says, the years are the very ground where mercy means to work. You do not have to silence that voice in a single night. You only have to stop letting it have the last word. You do not have to win the whole argument tonight. You only have to stop agreeing with the lie. So if you are listening with the weight of regret pressing down on you, this is for you. If you have ever whispered the words, I can never get that time back, this is for you. If you have looked at the wreckage of a wasted season and decided your best years are already behind you, this is for you. If you carry a particular memory that still makes you flinch, a wrong turn you cannot seem to forgive yourself for, this especially is for you. You do not have to clean yourself up before you are welcome here. You do not have to explain the years or justify them or pretend they did not happen. You can come exactly as you are tonight. The scriptures show us a God who runs toward people who wasted years, not away from them. Think of the son in the gospel story, the one who took his inheritance and spent it all and ended up with nothing but regret. He rehearsed his apology the whole way home, certain he had forfeited every right to be loved. But the father did not meet him with a list of the years he had thrown away. The father ran to him and held him and called for a celebration. That is the heart the scriptures reveal toward the ones who come back after the locust years. Not a tally of what was lost, but joy that you are here at all. And notice what the father did with the wasted years. He did not pretend they had not happened, and he did not hand back the inheritance the son had already spent. What he restored was something the son thought he had lost forever: his place at the table, his name in the family, his future. The money was gone, but the meaning of his life was given back to him whole. That is the difference between getting the years back and having the years redeemed. One you cannot have, but the other is being offered to you tonight. And I want to say something to you about all that time you believe was completely wasted. You think nothing good could have come from those years? That they were only subtraction, only loss. But beneath the surface, in places you could not see, something was quietly being formed in you. The compassion you feel now for people who are struggling, you did not buy that cheaply. You bought it with your own hard years. The gentleness you have toward people who have failed, that grew in the soil of your own failure. The patience, the humility, the slow and hard-won wisdom that you carry now, none of that was handed to you in the easy seasons. It was formed in the very years you keep calling wasted. One day you may sit beside someone standing exactly where you once stood, and the years that nearly broke you will become the reason they believe they can survive too. That is meaning being restored to what looked like only loss. Think of how much of who you are right now was shaped in the years you would rather forget. The tenderness in your voice when someone else is hurting did not come from your easy seasons. It came from the nights you cried alone, from the mistakes that humbled you, from the long stretch when you had nothing to offer but your own broken honesty. None of that was wasted, even though it felt like waste while you were living through it. The years did their slow and hidden work in you, and that work is being woven into who you are still becoming. What the locust ate, Mercy is quietly turning into something that can feed other people one day. I know what the comparison does to you, so let me speak to it gently. You look at other people and you decide you are years behind where you thought you would be by now, behind the people you started out with, behind some invisible schedule no one ever actually handed you. But heaven does not measure your life against someone else's timeline. The scriptures are full of people who came into their purpose late, after wandering years, after wasted years, after years that looked like nothing at all. The point is never how much time you have left. The point is that grace is still moving toward you now. Your timing is not your worth, and your delay is not your verdict. You are exactly where mercy can still reach you, and mercy has never once arrived too late. Now, I know you may not feel any of this yet. Feeling comes slowly to a heart that has been grieving the same loss for a long time, and that is all right. The truth does not wait on your feelings before it becomes true. The ground holds you whether or not you can feel it holding you. And these promises were written down long before you were born, so they could find you long after the feeling fades. So let me say it again, plainly, the way you may have needed to hear it for years. Your wasted years are not beyond redeeming. The world taught you to measure a life by what it produced, by the years that looked successful, by the seasons that had something to show for them. But that is not how heaven measures the years of a life. Your value was never tied to how well you used your time. It was tied to the love that made you in the first place. And that love did not drain away during the years you fell behind. In the years you wasted, you were loved. In the years you drifted, you were loved. In the years you are most ashamed of, you were loved still, the whole time. You spent so long believing that love had to be earned back with better years, with productive years, with years you could finally be proud of. But the love that made you was never a wage you had to work for, and it was never withdrawn during the seasons you fell short. It held steady through all of it, through the wasted years and the wandering years alike, waiting patiently for the day you would finally let yourself believe it. Think back for a moment on the seasons you were certain would finish you. The stretch of time when you could not see any way forward, when every door seemed closed, when you were sure your life had simply gone off the road for good. And yet, here you are, still breathing, still listening, still here tonight. Do you ever wonder how you came through years that should have swallowed you whole? How a small strength showed up on the mornings you had nothing left to give? How you survived the seasons you were sure you would not survive? The scriptures would call that the hand that never let go of you, even in the years you felt most alone. You assumed you were walking through those years by yourself, and so you carried them as years of pure abandonment. But you were accompanied through every one of them. Even in the seasons you could not sense it, even in the silence you mistook for absence. You did not make it through the locust years on your own strength. You were carried, even when you could not feel the arms that held you. So tonight, let me ask you to set down a few things you were never meant to carry forever. Lay down the shame of the years you lost. Lay down the bitterness toward yourself for the time you cannot get back. Lay down the fear that whispers your best chapters are already behind you. You were not made to drag those years behind you like a chain for the rest of your life. And about that past you keep replaying? The wrong path, the bad season, the version of yourself you can hardly believe you were? Hear this carefully, my child. You are not your most wasted year, and you are not the sum of the time you lost. The scriptures say that mercy is new every single morning, which means there is fresh mercy waiting for you tomorrow before you have done one thing to earn it. Grace was never a reward for the people who used their years well. It was always a gift for the ones who didn't. And that includes you tonight. So lay the lost years down, not because they never happened, but because they no longer have the right to decide who you are still becoming. If these words have stirred something in you, you do not need to do anything dramatic. You do not owe anyone a comment to make this real. And you do not have to prove your faith to a stranger. But if you would like, take this quiet moment and turn it into a small and honest prayer. It can be as simple as this: Lord, I have grieved these years for so long. Help me to trust that they are not beyond your reach. There are no perfect words required. The scriptures show God meeting people in groans and in whispers, and in prayers too broken to finish. Your honesty is more than enough, and a prayer that grieves is still a prayer that is heard. And if someone you love comes to mind right now, someone who is grieving their own lost years, you are welcome to quietly share this with them. Not as a chain and not as a demand, just as a kindness, the way you would hand a glass of water to someone who is thirsty. Now here is one gentle but important reminder, and I will not hurry past it. Faith is a deep comfort, but it is not a replacement for real help and care. If you are struggling with your health or your mind, or a habit or a situation that feels too big to carry alone, please also reach out to a doctor, a counselor, or someone you trust. Hope and help were always meant to walk together, side by side. Asking for support is not a failure of faith. It is wisdom, and it is brave. And before we come to the end, let me ask one simple thing of you. Do not write off the years you still have because of the years you lost. I am not telling you the road ahead suddenly turns easy, and I am not handing you a date or a guarantee or a tidy ending wrapped in a bow. I am telling you what faith has always whispered to the ones who carry regret, that your story is still being written, and you are nowhere near the final page. The years behind you are real, but they are not the whole of you. And the same grace that carried you through the wasted seasons is not about to set you down now. So when the regret rises again, hold on. And when the old grief returns at night, hold on. When you cannot yet see how any meaning could come from those years, take the one small step in front of you and hold on. So as this message comes toward its close, let me leave one thing in your hands to carry into tomorrow. Your lost years are not beyond redeeming, and your story is not finished. Hear once more the words from the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 25. And I will restore to you the years that the locust hath eaten, the cankerworm and the caterpillar and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you. Whatever those years took from you, the final word over your life was never meant to be loss. The years the locust ate are not the end of your story. They are the place where mercy can still do its quiet work. I will not promise you a date, and I will not promise you that the time itself returns, because I will not pretend to know the things that only God knows. You have been handed enough empty promises, and I will not add to the pile tonight. But I can leave you with what the scriptures say with full confidence. The years you grieve are not beyond the reach of the one who made you, and meaning can still rise from the ground you thought was barren. So lift your head tonight, not because the past is changed, but because the past no longer gets the final word over you. Take one more slow breath now, and let this be the truth you rest in tonight. Your years were seen, your years are held, and not one of them is beyond redeeming. If quiet messages of hope like this one bring you peace, You are always welcome to stay close to this little corner of the internet where we simply sit with the scriptures together. And wherever tomorrow takes you, whatever years you are still grieving, may you walk forward knowing the one who made you has not let go of your hand. Peace be with you, my friend. Rest now.